Hey, welcome to Your Life Is Not Over. Another episode. I'm Jeremiah, and this podcast exists to remind you that you are not broken, you're not alone, you're not finished, you're capable of so much. I had such a great time last week um, with the first episode and just getting to share with you guys, share with you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Um, just kind of where I'm at. And I think the point of this isn't that I've arrived at some special place, because, I'm still that work in progress. Um, but what is happening is I am seeing myself grow. I'm seeing myself find the ways that I can um, really work with what I've got, you know? And so, if you've ever felt like you're broken, like you're behind, like you're defective, this episode is for you. And I've been there, you know? This is not going to be a pep talk. I'm not here to convince you that everything is fine. Things might not be fine. There's been a lot of things for me this year that have not been fine at all, and have been very difficult and not easy. Even on this day, this is not a perfect day. I am not a perfect person, but what I'm trying to tell you though is still that there is nothing wrong with you. Yeah, I said that twice last week, and we're coming back to it in episode 2. I think it's something that um, gradually grows on us throughout life. I think back, even when I was a kid, like fourth, fifth grade, I have this, maybe I was a little older than that. I have this memory of, talking to my sisters and saying, like, we're not like the other kids. And, like, I don't know, things like we're different. And like, I seriously felt like there was something wrong with me. It was hard to explain that feeling. I even told my mom one morning, like, what's wrong with me? And I think, even like I felt like I was fun. I felt like I had a lot to bring to the table. Yeah, I felt like I did not have that many deep connections, and people didn't um like, you know, want to, I was not the popular kid at school at all. And I think that man, that's just one of the first earliest memories of feeling that way. Like I said, it's kind of hard to describe. Like, I don't know exactly all the ways in which why I felt that way. Um, I certainly was a scrawny, uh, real light stick of a kid. I, probably feel like I remember in junior high I was still like 80 pounds. It was just a little kid. And eventually I gained some weight, gained some height later in high school. But I was very self-conscious, even back then. And um, I think that we bring that we continue to bring that feeling as we get older. And I mentioned last week in the first episode that I had a first career in radio. I'm going to delve into that sometime, but I did find something that I really connected with and that I felt like I was really good at and I had some success with. Um, but even still, it's like, um, whether we are neurodivergent and we are not having our needs accommodated, or we are, really sometimes even beliefs that in and of themselves are not bad beliefs. Um, but we can really, I think in the religion that I grew up in, at times it was, I would get to where I would really um, suspect, that there could be really depths of darkness inside me, and I couldn't trust myself, and that really you could just fall into being very lost and very, like it was just going to catch you someday, and you could, be prone to some really bad sin or something like that. Just being honest. And that feeling especially brought a lot of anxiety, even once I was an adult and I was married. And it became very debilitating. And I just remember the first therapist that I went to, and I believe this was like 2014. And I explained to him kind of some of this that I was struggling with. And this is very basic, but it was so powerful for me at the time. So it may be powerful for you too. Because we all think that the things that we're struggling with, the things that we're dealing with, especially in the mind, we convince ourselves that nobody else struggles in this way. Nobody else feels this way. Nobody else has this problem. It's just me. You don't understand. Like, you haven't lived in my mind. You haven't walked in my shoes. You haven't dealt with what I've had to deal with. But here's what he told me. He said, everyone has issues. Everyone has issues, Jeremiah. And I was like, what? And it just dawned on me, like, you really do sometimes. You can convince yourself that nobody else is going through, poor me. Nobody else knows what it's like. And what somebody else is dealing with may feel completely different from what you are going through. But I truly believe that, yeah, everyone has issues. Everyone has things they're working through. Everyone has doubts and things that are struggles for them, or things that they get wrong over and over in life. And it doesn't mean that you are defective. It doesn't mean you're broken. You find out another way that it doesn't work. You're not going to repeat that mistake again in that way. But let us consider that idea that there is nothing wrong with you. When you learn more and more about yourself, it's not that you're going to find out what's actually wrong with you, you know? And I think that sometimes I was scared of that. I was like, someday I'm going to, if I actually let myself see what's inside, oof, man, what if that's scary? What if there's actually something really scary in there? Um, but here's the thing, like, I think we underestimate ourselves. I think when we do take the time to really learn about ourselves, it is we can understand how we can work better, what we actually need. You know, looking inside to see what do I actually need? What is the reality of my situation? And sometimes the things that feel very hard for us, um, are much easier than they feel. And I'll be vulnerable here. One of those things for me, I got divorced in 2021. I've been uh, living in my own apartment for almost 3 years. And it was an issue before I had my own place, but I have a struggle with keeping my place clean and keeping my place organized and keeping up on the chores and the things I need to do in my apartment. Okay. In some ways I'm like, I can't believe I'm sharing that with you, but I'm going to share that with you. And sometimes it's like it even gets harder to work on that stuff when I've let it get bad, you know? And so, um, you just have to, though, like, find, continue to explore what, is going to work for you, you know? My sisters, a couple of my sisters came up to visit me when I was moving into my new place, having a fresh start. And, they help set things up for success with a laundry basket in every room and a trash can in every room and they were like, you okay if we hold you accountable as you start off in the new place to really get going on a routine of taking care of things. And that was very helpful for me. The fresh start was helpful for me. But, I felt it very seriously, as far as like it wasn't just easy. I think sometimes you get a fresh start and you're like, okay, great. Now I'm just going to do it right. It's not that easy, you know? Um but that doesn't mean there's something wrong with me, you know? I I think I was mentioning this last week, but like the things um that we feel like are defective about us, or the things that we're embarrassed to admit. Um, Instead of being scared of those things, if we approach those things with curiosity, instead of judgment, curiosity, um, a lot of that anxiety around those things, it disappears. So we can, maybe this week, my challenge is to you. Replace when you're tempted to say, what's wrong with me? Replace that with um, what is true about me. And that just reminded me as well that something that was so helpful, I think, especially initially after um, my marriage ended and I was feeling like a failure. Affirmations work. And that, I don't know if you might not know what affirmations are. But basically, I mean, I bought a deck of affirmation cards. You don't have to. Basically, all it is just a statement of like, I am strong, I am capable, um, I am going to approach this day with positivity. I have a lot to offer to the people around me. Because we can think of the ones that we need the most, and sometimes some of those statements feel like they're a little far from true, but we want them to be true. And just stating those out loud, though, you get closer to seeing that there is so much more of that in you, so much more light in you. You are capable of so much, and you have so much to give to others, and to receive from others, and joy and happiness to experience. I want that for you. I want you to find that you have things that you're good at, things that you are very capable of, and that you're going to be good at. And so, I mean, that's me loving to remind you that I believe in you. Okay. Um, things, our perspective can get better. And I'm excited about the new beginnings. I mean, every day can be a new beginning, and we don't have to wait for a certain day on the calendar for a new beginning. But I'm telling you, it's all about the mindset, and we can start over. We can start things new at any time. So, thank you for joining me today. Oh, this was so much fun. It really was. I am so glad you're here. Join me on Instagram. Your Life Is Not Over Pod is Instagram.com/Your Life Is Not Over Pod. We are now up on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeart, and Apple. No, I said that. Amazon Music as well. And if you felt encouraged by this, I already heard from the first episode people telling their friends about the episode, about the podcast. I appreciate that so much. This is one of my favorite things to do, is to speak into people's lives. Now I'm speaking into yours. And I am encouraging myself as I speak these words, and really am transparent, and sharing what has helped me on hard days and hard times. So I am excited to see what things I hear that you get to do, with things I'm going to get to do. And I appreciate you. You're great. Have a great day.